Holy guacamole, ladies and gentlemen. Um, you know, listen, there's things to be said for sure about this game. First of all, if you're new, my name is Rodney. If you're not new, you knew that. Thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. This is gonna be harebrained. This is gonna be all over the place. If you're new to the live streams, you guys control it. You drop some comments in. I throw them up on the screen. I talk about them. There's some not so great news coming out of camp, or not camp, out of out of the team meetings and stuff about injuries. But listen, at the end of the day, we're 1-0 in a game that uh, could have broken people mentally, including myself. Um, that was one of, if not the most crazy, harebrained, manic game I've ever watched in my entire life. Started off not good. All of a sudden, we're going to overtime. We win the game. No, we don't. We actually lose the game. Actually, we win the game again. That was crazy. I'm here to talk about it. How are you guys doing? Um, there's just a lot of things to be said. There's a lot of things to be said. And I mean, we could start with Carr. Do we want to start with Carr? Do we want to start with the defense? Let's just start with Carr because the defense is the main thing I want to talk about. Carr, there's not again. There's a lot to be said with Carr. There's nothing to be said. This is when we need to score, we score. Like that's just a fact. 37 seconds, no timeouts, 2 plays, 2 spikes, there, field goal, overtime. Then he throws not one, not two, but 3 passes that should have, or the eventual one became the touchdown. Um, Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy. He threw for 430, 2 touchdowns. The one pick was a crazy one, although he sneaky threw an actual pick. I think it was Humphrey who was guarding Darren Waller, picked the ball off, didn't even realize it, dropped on the ground. Renfro jumped on it. They just called it incomplete, but that was a pick and then a fumble and then a recovery by Renfro. But hey, whatever, it didn't happen. He's elite. He's elite. He's elite, and he's the least of my concern. Another thing I want to touch up offensively, Bryan Edwards showed up when he needed to. We were going to Waller early a lot. Renfro's always there making plays. Ruggs was making an impact here and there. But Edwards showed flashes of what he could be. If you guys remember last year, Aguilar didn't start out touchdown, 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 although he did have a touchdown in the first game. He gradually got more comfortable in the offense, which is exactly what Bryan Edwards is probably going to do. Exactly what he's probably going to do. That doesn't really make sense, but you get it. Darren Waller's unstoppable. Josh Jacobs was hurt and still had 2 touchdowns. But the main thing I want to focus on with the offense before we get to the defense, what's going on? How we doing? How we doing? Oh, I appreciate that. I don't like to go live right after the game because every Raider person on YouTube does, and people are fighting for, different eyes to see it. So I usually wait a day. That's why I'm here today. The thing I want to talk about that no one seems to like. Listen, I already made that video about how you guys shouldn't take any of the sports media stuff seriously. But I do watch the stuff just to see if they actually say what they're supposed to, and no one's bringing it up. The offensive line, I thought it was supposed to suck, and yeah, we let up 3 sacks, sure, but when you drop back 57 times and you have basically an extra quarter that you played. And what's going on, Richard? And you get sacked 3 times. Other than that, clean pocket all day and night. I thought the offensive line was supposed to stink, and 2 backup guards because Incognito didn't play. Denzel, who unfortunately tore his ACL, which is terrible, didn't play either. 2 backup guards and pretty clean pocket, and nobody wants to talk about it. I'm not hearing a single word about it. So that's interesting. That was supposed to be the whole crux of the argument of why we were supposed to stink: the defense and the offensive line. Offensive line, check, pretty good. The commentators for the game were actually being positive about the Raiders. Well, one of the commentators last night was Louis Riddick, who used to play for the Raiders, so that makes sense. Trevor, what a game, bro! Lost my voice, dude. Oh my god, I was getting pretty hyped early with the Mariota run, but I came back down to earth throughout the game, and then toward the end of the game, I was dead silent. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't believe the positions we were in, positively and negatively. Um, but yeah, Trev, that was a crazy one. So again, Derek Carr's a stud. The wide receiving core, the play calling was great. But at the end of the day, the offensive line held up, and no one wants to talk about it because everyone's eating crow now because Leatherwood, besides the false start, was pretty good. Colton Miller can't get by him. Like, what's going on? What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Carr was scaring me with his passes. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, he was bad in the first quarter. He wasn't good, and the defense was keeping us in on it. And but then he picked it up, and he was the quarterback we always know he can be. Corey, what's going on? Thoughts on KJ Wright? Well, let's transition to the defense. KJ Wright, very, very good, flying up and down the field, had that huge fourth down stop. The defense, I don't know what to say. I was blown away. There was one big pass play where Kwiatkowski was guarding Watkins, and it was a great throw by Lamar. Lamar did not have a clean pocket, not 3 times this whole game. I could not believe. Now listen, I expected incremental improvements throughout the year. I could not believe Gus Bradley's impact. It was taking place so instantly from the opening possession. Boom, sack. I was like, whoa, this is different. And you have to give credit to Max Crosby for working his tail off in the offseason. Yannick Ngakoue was flying all the way around this right tackle, and he didn't know what he was doing, or this left tackle, excuse me. Nassib was getting in there. We had interior push from Phylon. We had Quinn Jefferson. I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. The secondary was okay. They gave him some plays, but they were at least tackling. There wasn't a lot of missed tackles yesterday. Merrick was flying around the field. Abram was flying around the field. Our linebacking core, Perriman, I liked a lot. But this interior pass rush, and I know it's only one game, but it's not nothing. Like, this is the Ravens. We're all acting like it's funny. We go into week 1 and no one gives us a shot, and that's fine. We got to earn the respect. I get it. And then we beat them, and then of course the discord now is what's wrong with Baltimore when and you hear a lot of like Lamar's got to protect the ball, like he fumbled the game away, and people are acting like he just hiked the ball and then dropped it on the ground and waited for Nassib to pick it up. Like he got popped in the mouth and fumbled. Like half the quarterbacks in this league are going to fumble that football. It's not just Lamar Jackson. Now the other time when he scrambled, he does have to protect the football. But the second one was just a blindside sack. Okay, so it was a takeaway. It's not just a turnover. Caleb Landry, what's going on? If Mahomes did that kind of game the same way Carr, they'd be praising the heck out of him even more than Carr. Well, yeah, I understand that. I get it because he's a Super Bowl champion. You got to give him the respect, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we'll get there one day. People are hyping up Carr. Don't you worry. Crosby was nuts. Yes, he was. What's going on, Dominique? Ravens only converted 3 times on third down. Dude, it was unreal. This defense was unreal. Now, to bring up the injuries a little, Marcus did get hurt. We don't know how serious it is. We're thinking about maybe signing Cam. I don't know. That's not a rumor. That was just something that I was reading. But other than Mariota, Gerald McCoy is probably out for the year. Denzel Good's definitely out for the year. Then you have Yannick, who isn't as severe as those, but they're going to take it easy with him, which sucks. But, now it's time for Farrell to step up. I think he's a really good player. I don't know if he's as good as Yannick. Well, I know he's definitely not as good as Yannick. But we haven't seen him in action yet. And even though he was a healthy scratch, he wasn't. He had a back problem, which is why he didn't play. No, what a game from Karl Max, dude. Dude, I mean, that was that was a really fun game to watch, and people are comparing it to the Saints game last year, and I thought about that. It doesn't feel like the Saints game in that the Saints game was like the offense was perfect, so we just scored every time, and that's how we won. The defense forced one turnover in that Saints game, but it was like Drew Brees had just a terrible pass, threw it right to Morrow. Um, this is different because the defense, like we lose this game any other year, save for maybe 2016. This felt very 2016 in ways in the way that it's we turn the ball over, we throw that pick in the end zone, and the game's over. The game's over. Lamar gets the ball back, it's over. He's going to scramble a big play. We're done. And they pick up a first down, and you're like, oh, could this game end in a tie? And then strip sack. You guys have been watching me play Madden. And when I turn the ball over, the defense gets it back for me. And what do I always say? If this could happen in real life, like good teams do, if when we turn the ball over, we can get one back, we could win. We could beat any team in the league, guys. Just imagine if we have this pass rush next week against the Steelers. Is Big Ben going to scramble out like he's Lamar Jackson? No. Now, that's a big if. We got to be consistent. But I like our chances next week. If we play like that, like, oh my goodness. Why was Levitt getting so many snaps? I don't know. Was that a Lamar Jackson strategy to just play a lot of guys that could just fly around and track them? Maybe. I was looking at the comments after the game. Everyone's calling the Raiders trash when they won. I know it has nothing to do with anything, but I hate when people say the team that won is trash. Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, comments like on what, like on Bleacher Report or YouTube videos. Like the internet isn't real. People on the internet aren't real. Even you guys, to a certain extent, are like, it doesn't really mean anything. And I know you say it doesn't have to do with anything, but you got to learn to just let it roll off your back. I used to let it affect me when I had Twitter. Now I don't, for many reasons. It just really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you just got to celebrate the wins and be happy with them. People did not think we would win, but our offense and defense did so good. But you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I'm gonna put my hat on. Put my Donovan Mitchell hat on. Well, I got a little too many targets in my opinion. It was getting very predictable, at least in the first half. I agree. There's a reason for everything, and we don't know the reason for that. But, it worked out in the end. This offense ain't looking solid. Are you talking about our offense? I thought our offense was pretty good. Or are you talking about the Ravens? I don't know. When we beat Pittsburgh, I'm going to cry. Well, I hope we do, man, because I'm here at college, and my roommate is a Steeler fan. His brother, who's coming up, is a Steeler fan. There's like 7 more people down here who are Steeler fans. So I'm trying to gain some support from, people here to try to help me. So I hope so. Yannick probably won't play. Yeah, probably not. 2020 defense is different. I agree. Crosby and Yannick are going to be insane this year. We just got to get them healthy. Carr could have thrown like 4 picks. Well, yeah, there was that one. Okay, so the tipped one, that's a tip. That those things happen. Waller was wide open, and it was almost a pick. Then there was another one where he thought in the game it was a free play and threw it to Waller, and that guy, I forget who it was, he went out to try to get a one-hander and couldn't bring it down. So that was a weird one because, again, he looked like he was yelling at the ref like he was offsides. And they never gave us a replay of that because it ended up just being an incompletion. But the one that's crazy is the one to Waller that Humphrey broke up that he picked off and didn't even realize it. Then he got up and celebrated and like threw the ball up in the air. And Renfro, of course, was the only one who realized it and fell on the ball. And like we just like all just let that slide. Like if you look that playback up, he picked it off 100%. And then the last one, Willie Snead, went through his hands. So all 4 of his potential picks and the one that he did have were so like Twilight Zone-y. Like this whole game felt like a weird like It just felt weird in like the best way. I don't know. Raiders defense get better, but the offense looks like they took a step back, is what you're saying. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. This is a really hard defense to play, and we put up 33. I know it took overtime, but you know, we didn't run the ball at all because Jacobs was not healthy. We had two backup guards. Um, if you want to take away the overtime touchdown, there was that 4th and 1 that got blown up. If we convert that, who knows? It's at least three probably. So I don't know if I'm comfortable with saying the offense took a step back. I think we took a little bit to get going, and by the time we hit the fourth quarter, we scored 17 in the fourth, and scored on three straight possessions. Edwards, like I said, I don't know if you were here earlier. Aguilar took a little bit to become the guy. He had to learn how to run within the offense. It took Edwards 4 quarters, but he figured it out. Next week, you'd have to assume that Mika Fitzpatrick. I don't know how he does against tight ends. If he does guard Waller, it's time for Ruggs and Drake and Edwards to step up like they did today or yesterday. Just got to make sure we watch T.J. Watt. He's probably going to line up against Leatherwood. We're going to have to chip. Make sure he make sure he doesn't get to Carr. I think we have a good chance because the Steelers' offense isn't just not explosive. It's non-existent. I'm not worried about the Steelers. And I said this last year about this feels like the Patriots game last year where I thought we were going to go in and win pretty easily. Um, the Bills just played bad against the Steelers. They had like 4 plays where they could have scored on different drives. The Steelers scored on a blocked punt. I don't think they're going to do that against us. Knock on wood. He had 2 receptions late in the game. One, it was like a 15-yard comeback, and then the 3rd and 10 to put us in the position for the Waller touchdown. Carr threw it about as high as he possibly could. It was about a 30-yard catch. David, it was the first time playing in a game setting and had to get the rust off in front of fans too. There was probably a little bit of nerves. It's natural to be nervous. I think the Raiders still going to be weak. And just being honest, I predict at least 8 W's. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't really add up, this sentence, because if they win at least 8 games, that's the same amount they won last year, which would make them average. It would make them weak. Weak would be like 6-3 wins. If they win at least 8, that means they could win more than 8, which means they have a winning record. So they could go like 10-7 and still be weak. You could think they're not going to be great. I understand that. That's fine. But that doesn't really make sense to me, just the way you put it, But yeah, man, hell of a game. Crazy. Derek Carr, I mean, I think people are done talking about him negatively. Not everyone, but most people that matter, the public figures of the world. I think they're done talking about him negatively because he's clearly a baller. You know what I mean? I finally got into my DoorDash app. It's been taking me 3 hours. I'm hungry, guys. Okay, I'm a human just like you, but you're not here for that. Anyway, no, you're cool. That's fine. You're good. It's all right, man. I'm not trying to jump on you. Yeah, hopefully it was just the first game receiver step up, but I didn't like what I was seeing. Well, listen, me neither. At the first half, I was like, we should be down 20. I thought Carr was borderline bad, and we couldn't run the ball. But sometimes it takes a while. And again, the Ravens defense is it's controlled chaos. They just throw the kitchen sink at you. And the best thing I could say about this game was the offensive line was sick. It was just sick. Oh, I loved it. They played so well, like I knew they would, with backups in the game. Nice run, Mario, to start. Yeah, I was freaking out. Hey, yo, order me some food. No, I will not. I'm a college student, and every dollar matters, okay? Oh, but anyway, what should I get? What should I get, guys? Actually, I'm going to end this right now, but And if you have any other questions, throw them in real fast. But I'm gonna leave you with this. What should I get here? We got Chick-fil-A, we got Chipotle, McDonald's, which is like you gotta be really struggling to want McDonald's in a time like this. Should I get some pizza? You guys are gonna pick this for me, and then I'm out. Should I get some? No, I already had Subway. So those are my options. Start spamming in there. What should I eat? And then we're gonna get out of here. If you have any other questions, let me know. My feet are starting to fall asleep, which means I'm just really hungry. Okay, Chipotle. We got to vote for Chipotle. Anybody else? Anybody else? People are just dwindling fast. They're like, we don't care, bro. Like you said, you're ending it. Like we're out. If this Chipotle is the only vote, I'm just gonna get Chipotle and call it a day. It didn't come up on my thing though. Oh yeah, here it is. 50-minute delivery. That's tough. But 2 for Chipotle. All right, it's settled. No one else is gonna throw their 2 cents. Oh my God, Chipotle's running away with it. Running away with it. Can we talk about Zay Jones for a second? What a stud. Let's get him. No. The Chipotle's had it. Relax. I don't know what that is. Melt burger? I don't know what that is. Zay Jones, love it. Love him. Daniel Carlson, love him. Taco Bell. Sneaky good pick there. Zay Jones and Carlson, 2 unsung heroes. God, I love them both. There's nothing else to say. We're 1-0. Hopefully, we'll be 2-0. I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid of the Dolphins or the Bears. I'll tell you that much right now. So even if we lose the Steeler game, I think we're going to get right back on track. I'll see you guys when I see you. The Steelers Raiders Madden simulation will be up tomorrow or Thursday. Maybe most likely tomorrow. So yeah, that to look forward to. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe, stay healthy, make good choices. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you. And just win, baby! I'm hungry. Let's go.